All right, what's up? You're probably watching this channel because you've seen me post content about SMMA, building my own SMMA to seven figures, making money online, these topics. You've probably not heard me talk much about the other things I do, right? I'm a human that doesn't just sit at a laptop all day. And most of my time nowadays is not sat behind my laptop, all right? It was when I was started, when I was starting my SMMA, trying to get that to our first 10K a month. I spent literally any waking hour I could in front of my laptop, either learning, doing more outreach, taking sales calls, whatever I needed to do to make more money. And as I started creating content to grow my personal brand, I put a lot of my focus on basically finding what was working, putting of course, my own unique spin on it, and then emulating that, right? Replicating it. And look, this is a trap so many of us quote unquote creators fall into. Myself, I've fallen into this many times. We see somebody who's potentially leading the industry and we feel, look, they have the result I want. So if how they got the result looks like it's through this certain type of content, I should then make this certain type of content as well, which is very linear, narrow thinking. And that is essentially what happens. You've also got to understand that when you're just watching videos, either from myself or anybody else, that strictly give you the strategies about the tactics, the technical details of how to get clients, how to grow a business, you see, that's not the full picture. Because the things you do outside of your work are almost as important as the things you do inside your work, right? I saw this video today that really strikes this point. Brian Johnson, super successful guy, worth, I don't know, tens of millions, if not 100 million, had his ex-fiance try and sue him for $9 million. And all while that was happening in the last few years, he's been building up his personal brand, right? Where he's basically trying to reverse his aging process. Key point there is that you would look at his videos of this guy that's mega rich, sold his company, and now can just spend all his time working on his health and fitness, which when I saw this video today, I realized, no, that's not the case. Him making that video, I felt like I respected him more and he seemed more authentic, right? Like more real. And so my goal with this channel and the content I put out there is to be that, because those are the people I respect, the people that put out real raw content that I can actually relate to and I learn from. You see an educational instructional video about how to get X, how to do Y. It's valuable and yes, you'll learn something from it. But see, those are not the characters that I watch that I ultimately truly respect. And so by me putting out content that doesn't actually reflect that, you might not respect me. So we might be changing things up. All right, what's going on? You're watching Yoga with Adam. This is a practice I do every morning, every single morning. Now, I say every single morning. I've probably done this 330 days of the last 365. There's, of course, a couple of days I missed this, but I've pretty much done this every day probably for the last 5 or 6 years, missed a few days here and there. And I debated, why would I put this in a video? And I thought, this is something I do every single day. If this is something I've done every single day, as I built my agency to seven figures, and then as I built my coaching consulting business also to seven figures, doesn't it then have an impact? Doesn't it then have a benefit in terms of if you can put this into your life, maybe you'll get some results, potentially. The reason I actually really wanted to do this was because my friend Jordan was visiting and he said he struggled with mobility and he doesn't really do much stretching. He does a bit and he doesn't have a yoga practice. And it's something that I've always told him that I've done pretty much every single day. So I said, fuck it, let's talk about it. So much so that Jordan said to me, he was like, do you talk about this? Do you ever make content about this? And I was like, nope, not at all. And some of you don't know this, but I used to make content about health and fitness before I started my marketing agency. And that's how my niche from a marketing agency was fitness, right? It was mainly fitness coaches and supplement companies we worked with. That's kind of how I found that. I didn't just wake up one morning and go, yes, fitness coaches is going to be my niche. No, I put out content myself. I had some YouTube videos. I used to post on Instagram. I was trying to become a fitness coach myself. So naturally then when I was like, you know what, I think a faster way for me to see success would be to just help fitness coaches with the marketing, because I don't really know how to coach someone through fitness, but I do know how to do marketing. I've been studying it for years. I've been looking at other fitness coaches and creators, and I knew that. So that's kind of how that came to be. So anyway, I'm going to walk you through what I do. Do this every day. It's actually my second time doing it. I've already done this because I do this every morning. But this is my stretching routine. And it's super basic, and it's a mix of just stretching to get your body ready for the day. It's also a mix of stretching that's going to help you if you're going to do exercise, all right? but it's also got touches of yoga in here. And the reason I think that's important is because a lot of you who are watching this type of content probably don't have a huge amount of, you're not so in touch, let's say, maybe with your spiritual side. Maybe you haven't looked into practices like meditation and yoga, or maybe you've seen them but purely from, somebody said it in a YouTube video and you thought maybe I should try that. You tried it once or twice and didn't really stick with it. You see, before I started in the business world, that's kind of where I spent a lot of my time. I went to college, and as part of that, I spent 4 months in Singapore. If you know where Singapore is, it's very greatly located to travel throughout Asia. So I spent a lot of time in Asia traveling. And during that time, I was still making some money with some other little side hustles. But I did a lot of meditation, did a lot of yoga. Every time I'd go to a new city, I'd type in whatever the city's name was. For example, Chiang Mai in Thailand. And then I'd type in yoga, and I would just find groups that would do yoga. And so this practice for me helps me stay focused, helps me get out of my head, right? Because it can be quite difficult, if you're busy, right, to like carve out time each day to meditate. That's sometimes it's difficult. It's just we don't want to do it, right? It doesn't give us instant gratification. Whereas a practice like this for me is way more enjoyable because I like to move, I like to exercise. It gets me out of my head into my body. And then I'll do a little bit of a breathing practice afterwards, which anytime I do it, I've never done it and said, wow, that was a waste of time. It takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I've never done it and felt like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I've never done it and felt bad. Every single time I've ever done it in my life, I felt good, more calm, more clear, more set on what do I actually need to do and why was I doing all these other things that might be wasting my time. And if you're trying to build a business, two things are for certain. One is you're going to have times where your head gets clouded, right? And this happens to me all the time. I see other people in my space making more money than me, and I start thinking, I'm not doing enough. I need to do what they're doing. And I start to essentially forfeit what I actually truly want deep down, the goals that I truly set for myself, not the goals that somebody else set. Like I might see a video of some guy with a Lamborghini and start thinking, I need a Lamborghini. I've never wanted a Lamborghini my entire life. So now I start shifting my priorities based on somebody else's content. And you see a practice like this helps me stay grounded, right? It helps me stay in what I actually want. So that's number one. Your head is going to get clouded. What you should do, what you shouldn't be doing. And two, if you're going to start a business and you want to make money online, you need discipline, right? If you can't carve out 5 minutes a day to do something like this, how do you expect to run a business which makes a shit ton of money? Because to make a shit ton of money with a business, you've got to be disciplined in a bunch of activities, right? If you want to start a marketing agency, you've got to be disciplined in doing outreach. You've got to be disciplined in taking sales calls. You've got to be disciplined in the fact that you have to show up when it's not easy, right? You have to show up when others wouldn't. So it's 2 p.m. on the 12th of December. It's a Tuesday. And, I'll be honest. I do not have to do any more work for today. If I want to work, I can work. If I want to make more money, I can work, but I don't have to. To make the money that I'm used to making and comfortable making, I don't have to work any more hours. Which, when you hear that, will either make you envious, jealous, frustrated, or something else. So because I do have time, I'm about to hit a workout right now, I'll be making more content like this. So my goal is to essentially have more content that's more real, more true to who I am and what I do, more of the life I actually live and not just how to make 10K a month, because me as a person, that's not all I care about. And you as a person, that shouldn't be your only goal either. You should strive to have a life, in my opinion, that's full of abundance in many areas. Money is one thing. And me making this video saying, hey, look, it's 2 p.m. and I don't have any work left to do today, that is to show you the reality of what's possible. And for most of you watching, your goals right now should probably be focused heavily on getting to that point, right? Not just getting to a point where you don't have to work, that's not the point. But getting to a point where you make the money that you're comfortable making, the money that gives you the lifestyle that you want, right? To be able to do the things you want, and to then have this abundance of free time that you can put into all these other fucking goals, right? Like I'm I've just booked in for a half marathon and another marathon in the next few months. I'm training towards those. I'm about to just hit a little workout here with the home gym. There's a bunch of other things in life that, I'm experiencing, you should experience as well. But if you don't have the financial freedom, the time freedom, and the location freedom that comes from an online business, it's very fucking hard for you to do those things. Like, if I wasn't making good money online, I wouldn't be able to just go upstairs, middle of the day, do yoga, go for a walk. I'm probably going to meet one of my friends for a sauna in a couple of hours from now. Like, I wouldn't be able to do those things. He wouldn't be able to either, right, if he didn't make money. So I'm still going to be talking about how to make money, right? Don't get that wrong. Because I believe there's a hierarchy of goals, right? And for most of you, money is number one and probably should be number one for quite some time until you start to essentially satisfy that goal. And then you can start to delve deeper into the other goals. All right. So as I mentioned, I have a half marathon and a marathon in the next few months. So half marathon, a couple of months from now, about 2 months. Marathon, about 6 months roughly. Did my first marathon this year. Did it with my brother. Really didn't like. Training wasn't that intense. Yes, I trained. We trained for like maybe 2 months or something. I definitely didn't plan it the way that you would actually plan it if you're serious about it. And so this year, I'm going to be more serious about it. I've always really worked out. All right, that's why I'm going to show you some of what I'm doing here. Again, it's how I found out what kind of industry I wanted to work for and work with my social media marketing agency. Fitness, right? It was because that's exactly what I was doing myself before I started. But as I prep for the marathon I'm going to do next, something that's really important to maintain strength, my physique in a certain way. And so I'm going to show you just like a rough, tiny workout here. I'll do one set of each exercise I'm going to do, and then I'll typically repeat that 3-4 times. It's like a mix between a HIIT workout, CrossFit, something like that. And the key thing you'll notice is this literally takes me 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So I can get my strength training in, and then I'll go to an actual gym maybe once a week. That's kind of my goal, to hit like heavy legs and heavy chest. You can probably hear this fuckload of noise in the background, but part of the goal with these videos is to not trying to be put out a perfect image and just showing you the reality. So we're going to start off with anywhere from probably like 15 of these dips to like maybe 20. Then after this, I'll move on to probably some bicep curls. I'll then superset that with some push-ups. And then I've got a couple other bits and pieces that we'll throw in the mix. All right. I've lost count, but that's roughly 15. Sweet. So I don't really take a rest between them. I just go straight in between each exercise. So take out the weights, super basic. These are just literally 7.5 kgs. It's not even heavy. Could I do heavier? Yes. I can do double this weight if I wanted to. I could really push it, but my goal here is not to jack on a load of weight. Like, I'm a small guy, so if I'm jacking on a lot more muscle than I have right now, I've done that in the past. I think I just look ridiculous. I look like a Michelin man. Have you ever seen that guy? So again, how many reps am I doing? Probably 12, 15. I'll be honest, I don't count every single set. All right, we'll go for 3 more. And that should be about there. Voila, amazing. So this, I have no idea what this is called. Again, the last time my friend Jordan was over, he was focusing on CrossFit a lot, so he was showing me a few things I can do with a kettlebell. But I've kept doing it. It's super fun, but it's tough. So I'll probably do like 10 or maybe 12 reps if we're doing good. I don't even know if my form is correct on this. All I know is that this can work your legs more if you choose it to, or it can work your upper body more, depending on how you swing the kettlebell. I'm trying to make this entertaining, guys, because if you're watching this, I'm not trying to turn this channel into a workout channel, right? I want to show you more of the lifestyle, more of the behind the scenes. So I'm showing you one of each exercise, and that's about it. But again, my goal is kind of to deepen the relationship that we have here, right? I'll talk more about what I'm eating, supplements. I can show you what I take. Because if you're trying to get into fitness, or you currently do fitness, you'll know, working out is half the battle. It's It's nutrition, it's what you eat, it's your sleep, it's how you treat your body is the main driver of results. And if you're trying to run a business, and again, maybe some of you haven't even thought of it this way, but like at the end of the day, if you want to make money online and start a business, you're essentially trying to do something that most people never do. Trying to do something that most people will never achieve. You're trying to make 10K a month online, maybe 20K a month online. Most people that you meet in your life will never make that amount of money. So for you to be the odd one out and to make that amount of money, you have to take care of your body, your mind, your energy, your focus in a completely different way, with a completely different level of intensity. Because you can't expect to just do one or two things differently each day and then somehow have a dramatically different life. It just wouldn't make sense. Enough talking. We're going to do the push-ups now. Again, how many reps I'm going to do, who knows? Probably 15 to 20. We'll see how we go. And so again, I'm going to cut it after this, but yeah, I'll repeat this for probably 3 or 4 more reps, or more rounds, I should say. All right, so after I do that, I'll hydrate. All right, here we go. We got this little shaker. This has a fizz tablet. Essentially, it's just electrolytes and some vitamins. I did not a long run yesterday, but one of the longer runs I've done in a while because I haven't been training for any like races. So I did a 12-kilometer run yesterday. And pretty much every day after I do a semi-long run, so anything above 10K, a 20K run, a 30K run, anything like that, I'm always finding that the next day I'm dehydrated. And I do my best to hydrate on the run, after the run, but I think I just sweat a lot. Like buckets of sweat come off me. So having these little extra things to essentially just boost up the mineral content of your water does help. Now, I've already mentioned that I don't need to do any more work today, but something I do want to do is I want to just show you our Telegram, okay? Telegram is where we host all the coaching that we offer to our students. And one thing I think we do really, really well is we provide our students with a level of coaching that they would normally have to pay $10,000 for. Right, like we have calls with people all the time where they've paid 10K for a program, and the level of coaching that they get from us and personal attention is often more than what they got in a 10K program, which is the exact reason why we get results like this. So for example, if we look at this message, Johnny said 2 referrals came my way today, lads. Both contacted me through LinkedIn. One 1K a month retainer, and the other 1.2K a month, or 1.2K. I think that's a one-time payment for a flow setup. Megan, she got her 5K a month award from us. Like, this story is just super inspiring. Megan has 2 kids under the age of 5, and her husband now have both quit their jobs to do this full time. That shit's inspiring. Cyrus, hectic 2 weeks, onboarded 2 new clients and 2 new editors. He's at 7K a month. Harry, also at 7K a month. That's him with his 5K a month award. And like, if you look at the dates here, all right, so again, I'm recording this on Tuesday the 12th. Like this, on the 8th of December is all these wins here. Johnny sent us this today. Megan sent us that yesterday. And this is Tuesday, right? What we've found is that we get more wins midweek because people have kind of taken the weekend off and not slacked, but relaxed a bit. So you'll actually see way more of these wins come in the next couple of days. Let me know how you like the Christmas tree. I've never had one before, so that's my first Christmas tree ever. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's quite fun to make this. Very easy, very low effort. And it truly feels more authentic and more real. So I'm hoping you guys enjoyed them. We'll be putting out content like this. We'll still have our usual strategy content, but here's to something bigger.